Hey guys, and welcome back to another one of these pickup videos, and this time around I'm jumping into some games. This is going to be my pickups video for all the games that I've picked up in the last few months that aren't PS4 games, because that's my focus on collecting right now is PS4, but I have picked up a substantial number of things for some other consoles, so I want to show that off. Also, I decided to throw on my Vault 111 beanie cap here for this, mainly just to see what it looked like. But I think I will start off right here with my new Nintendo 2DS XL that I bought. I actually got this back in November, early November. This is just the box. The 2DS itself is over by my couch. I play it a little bit every day. And I'm going to show all the 3DS games that I have here first. The little library that I've once again built for myself. And actually I'm going to start off with something that's not 3DS, but this is Chrono Trigger for the Nintendo DS, since you can play DS games on 3DSs and 2DSs. So now I have another way in which to play Chrono Trigger. I don't have a Super Nintendo, so I can't get the original cartridge. Right now, in fact, the only means by which I have to play this is the PlayStation Final Fantasy, I don't know if it's Chronicles or the Anthology that has Chrono Trigger, but now I can play it on the go with this. So there's the first game. Now everything else here should be straight 3DS games. So the first thing I'm going to show here is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. I'm not 100% sure if this is two games in one. I think maybe Bowser's Minions was like a DS game that was brought over for this, a riotous reimagining, so maybe it's like a remaster or a remake. But the Mario and Luigi games to me have always looked sort of fun, so I got that one, and then I also got Paper Jam, and I think as far as like 3DS goes, there's just another one about Luigi's Dreams or something. I don't remember the name of it, but keep my eyes open for that. Here's something that I ended up picking up just because it was cheap. I think I already own some sort of a version of this on the PS4, but this is Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. I noticed that eBay has a ton of listings where somebody's got a big old pile of games and they're just like, all these games are $4 or up, and then you click on the little tab and it drops down and shows you which games are in stock. I bought something else that's in here. I think it might be this next game that I'll show, and then I just got this because it was on the thing and it was cheap to use and open, but just decided I would have it. The game that I think I bought from the same seller that led me to getting that one is this. It's Dragon Quest VII, Fragments of the Forgotten Past. It was relatively cheap, but I am a little sad that there's no booklet with this. There's a booklet with most of the other 3DS games that I have. But I also got Dragon Quest VIII, Journey of the Cursed King, which is the really big one that I first was exposed to on the PlayStation 2, and I have a copy of it for that. But, like I said, I have found a lot of really awesome 2D or 3DS games on between Amazon and eBay for $20 or less. Of course, there's a lot that are more than 20, but I picked up quite a few of these for those lower prices. This one was one that I got for 20 or less, and this is Shin Megami Tensei 4 for the Nintendo 3DS, brand new copy. I don't think I'll ever be able to track down all the games in this wide expanse like the Shin Megami games and Persona games, but pick up a few things here and there whenever I find them. Of course, I had to get Legend of Zelda Link Between Worlds again. I had this the first time that I owned a 2DS in 2014 or whenever that was, so I picked that one back up. Brand new copy of that. This was a game I had looked at a few times and wanted to pick it up. Ever Oasis, another RPG. Pretty sure this is just a pretty straight JRPG style game or something similar to that. Here's a game that I had the first time around, Bravely Default. This is a Square. Is this a Square game? Yeah, this is Square Enix, and it's very much like an old school JRPG. And I played it a little bit the first time that I owned a 3DS or a 2DS, and I enjoyed it. But at that time, I had a negative. I had a negative feeling towards like the 3DS games and any portable handheld style games like this, in that like this is a big JRPG, so why wouldn't I just want to play it on the TV? The problem is I'm denying myself a bunch of good games like this if I don't get a handheld, so I went ahead and got it. And then I got Bravely Second End Layer. I don't think this was released at the time I had the original 3DS, but this is a sequel to Bravely Default, so I had to have that. Now, next couple of games I had to show, I don't know why, it's ridiculous in my opinion, why these are so damn hard to find for decent prices. But I picked up a couple of the Nintendogs and Cats games. These are kind of some upgraded versions of the Nintendogs games that were out on the DS years ago. This is Nintendogs and Cats French Bulldog and New Friends version. And then I also have the Golden Retriever and New Friends version. I think Toy Poodle or French Poodle. No, I guess it's probably Toy Poodle or something like that, since this is French Bulldog. But there's a third one that's available out there. I still have yet to track that one down. But I'm going to have all three of these main Nintendogs games that are out for the 3DS, because I guess I'm just stubborn like that. Now here's one of the games that I really wanted to get, for the 2DS that I bought since I saw it come out, because I'm such a big fan of Super Metroid. This is Metroid Samus Returns. I've already been playing this, but I got a little bit stuck, and I hadn't really been able to figure out where to go and what to do at the point where I'm at. But that's still, like I said, one of the 3DS games that I had to have. Here's a couple 3D remakes or remasters of Zelda games. Decided I'd go ahead and get Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, and then Majora's Mask 3D. This is one of my all-time favorite games, probably my favorite N64 game, but I've never completed it, so I've never played Majora's Mask. But I have so many Zelda games now to play that I'm going to be sitting pretty for Zelda stuff for years to come. Here's a game here called Fantasy Life. A game that looks really generic and bizarre. It's made by Level 5, though. They've got a really good reputation for games. But I decided I would get this because it's like an RPG game. It looks to me, I see the words craft, cast, and hunt, so it's obviously borrowing from some newer game designs. But I had to get that. And there's a return of one of my all-time favorite games. The first time that I had a 2DS, Tomodachi Life. I play this game every day. It's still just as fun as it was a few years ago. Yes, it's really repetitive. I would love to see a sequel or some expanded idea on this. Now, I heard that there's two things that do kind of expand the game or take the ball that this game plays with and runs with it, and that would be the Miitopia game, which is a mobile game. So I've never played it, and I just heard recently that it's getting ready to be they're going to cease supporting the game. It's not going to be live anymore. And then the other one is this game here. Whoops, this is Miitopia. I can't remember the name of the mobile game that Nintendo did that was really popular. I know some of the people from the N64 Forever Forum played it a lot, but there's that, and then there's this Miitopia game, which takes, I guess you can import some of the characters from this game into this one to be NPCs in this like RPG world. So next up I have Cave Story 3D, which I've heard is a Metroidvania style game, and that it's got really good reviews. NIS America is a pretty decent company. I try to shop from them when I can. So I got that, and I think the last two 3DS games that I have to show off is going to be Corpse Party. This is the brand new back to school edition Comes with a soundtrack CD and these 2 Corpse Party figurines down here. The first time I saw this full package online was through Walmart.com, and I ordered it through them, and it was somewhere in that $70 range. It's a little bit pricey for a 3DS game. And within a couple of days, despite the fact that it said it was in stock online when I ordered it, I received notification that my order had been canceled, that they were out of stock. And I was a little upset because it was one of the few places I'd seen the game listed for, and I was going to be able to have it sent to one of the local Walmarts and pick it up without any shipping or anything. But then a couple of days later, I managed to find this one. I believe I got on off of Amazon, and got it anyway for right around the same price. And then the last thing to show off for my 3DS, little 3DS library that I've put together here, is Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology Launch Edition. I guess there was a Radiant Historia game for the DS, but I only stumbled across this one recently when I was shopping on Amazon for 3DS games, and of course it was a suggested title, and it came out a week or 2 ago, so I went ahead and jumped on it. Like I said, any of these RPG games that I'm not going to have access to on other consoles, at least not physical copies, I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick those up. Alright, so that was all the 2DS or /3DS stuff. So I'm going to really quickly, I guess I'll show these 2 Wii games that I picked up. First one here is Deal or No Deal Special Edition. One night, just kind of farting around on the internet, I got to reminiscing about this game show that I used to watch from time to time, and about how long it had been since I'd seen or heard anything from this. And I remembered that there had been Deal or No Deal games, and it turned out they were all either DS or Wii games. So I found this one, like I said, Special Edition. It says all new minigames, themes, and graphics, and it wasn't very expensive. It also doesn't have the greatest reviews online, but I thought, oh, I'll take a chance, just for fun, just to play the game show that doesn't exist anymore. Alright, and the other Wii thing I'm going to show, this is kind of a big object. I can't really see myself ever actually playing this, but this was less than $20 purchase, so I had to get it. This is Babysitting Mama, but it comes with an actual doll. And I guess you take your Wii remote and you stick it in the backside of the doll here. You stick it in this little slot in the back, and then I guess you can like rock the baby, or you can maybe like burp the baby, and all different kinds of things on screen. I don't know, it just seemed like such an unusual and novelty type thing, and I haven't seen a lot of people that I watch online who collect games and whatnot have something like this on their shelf. Maybe they just don't want to have a baby on the shelf like this, but I thought this was pretty badass, so I had to get that. Alright, so I think the next thing I'm going to show is we'll go away from some Nintendo stuff for a moment, and we'll go to some other consoles. Mainly this console right here, of which I had to replace mine because my PS3 crapped out on me a handful of years ago. So I got this 500 gigabyte PS3 for about the same price as it would have been when it first came out. So at least it wasn't super inflated, because I've seen consoles of all different kinds that are no longer in production. I'm going to show one here in a moment where they've gone like hundreds of dollars above their old original prices just because they're no longer being made and sent out to retailers from the Sonys or Nintendos or Microsofts or anything. This is all sealed. It's a really nice looking box. It's very plain, like it's not a bundle, didn't come with any special games, but I didn't need it to. I just needed it to replace my PS3. Now my PS3 is still hooked up back here because it still worked, but what happened was the HDMI output on it went kaput one day. I was literally sitting here at the house watching some YouTube on it, and in the middle of a video it just went black and made a little bit of a sound, and then all of a sudden the screen was purple, and I could still hear the YouTube video playing in the background, excuse me, but there was no sound. So somehow or another the video aspect of it went out. So I took my component, like my upgraded component thing that I had hooked to my PS2, hooked it to the PS3, and it still worked. So it's something within the HDMI output itself. But it's really hard to, the 360 was my first HD console, and it still works just fine. My PS3, though, with the arrival of games like The Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto 5, and a whole bunch of JRPG type game experiences, the PS3 became my focal console from about 2012 till 2014, I think, is when it crapped out on me. Excuse me. So I built up a library of PS3 games that all of a sudden I couldn't really do anything with. It really bummed me out because it was like where I'd bought all the Assassin's Creed games, and I wanted to start playing through that series. And now that there's a handful of them on the PS4 that are pretty decent, I wanted to be able to play all of those games. Now they're remastering a lot of those, and I'll show some of that in my PS4 pickups video. But there were just a whole bunch of games for the PS3 that suddenly I was kind of robbed of. So I had to pick up another one before they got super crazy expensive. And of course I've managed to pick up a few PS3 games as I've moved forward, knowing that I had one in my collection again. So some of the titles I picked up for it include Grand Theft Auto 5, Gran Turismo. I've always done that. I've always, GTA and GT have always gotten mixed up in my brain. But Gran Turismo 5 XL Edition, picked up that. That way I have a couple still trying to do it, a couple Gran Turismo games in my collection. I got the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, basically Sony's version of the Smash Brothers series, which I'm not a big fan of, and I don't know that I'll like this very much. I just wanted to have it. It's a Sony exclusive type thing, and even though I bought this from like a third-party seller, I'm all about giving the Sony exclusives as much love as I can. So I picked that one up. A game called Enemy Front. Remember what I mentioned earlier with the 3DS games or the Wii games or whatever, where I found eBay has a whole bunch of those people with a stack of games and a drop-down thing, and you select the game and click on it and see how much it costs. I managed to get this Enemy Front game for, I think, no more than $10 or $12. And I remember kind of staring over this thing when we had it at Walmart a few years back, wanting to get it. It doesn't have the greatest reviews, but at the price I got it at, I was happy. Here's one of those Assassin's Creed games. I will fully admit that I only bought this one, the America's Collection, because of its inclusion of the Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, which is basically, I think it's a digital game that started out only on the PSP. Well, it started out on the PSP, then I think they released it digitally on the PlayStation Network, and then this is the first and I think only time that it's actually included on a physical disc. So I really bought this just for that, because I already owned 3 and 4, 3 on the PS3 and 4 on the PlayStation 4, but this one was also a less than $20 game, and I figured that's worth it for just to have that one game on disc. And with all the recent hype about Nier Automata, I had to get the original Nier, and I was really afraid it was going to be super expensive, but it didn't look to me like either the PS3 or 360 versions were going for all that much right now. So I went ahead and snagged this up while I could. If you saw my anime pickups, then you may have noticed where I picked up an anime called Steins Gate, and I mentioned getting the games involved with that. This is Steins Gate for the PlayStation 3. This is the first game, and then there is a sequel on the PS4. So this one was a toughie for me, even deciding to pick this up. But I guess as a collector, I wanted, just for posterity's sake, to have all the Souls games. So of course you got to start with Demon's Souls. This is a greatest hits copy. I don't know that that this has any of the extra things on it that sometimes the greatest hits did, but regular copies that if I remember right, the regular copies that I came across were a lot more expensive. And for a game that if I do ever play, I know it's just going to torture me until I hate it, so I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on it. So I got the greatest hits copy of it. And here's a game that I had no idea that this series had anything to do with the Nier series. This is Drakengard 3 for PlayStation 3. I don't have any of the previous... No, I lied. I do have the first Drakengard on PS2, so I guess I'm going to have to go out there and try to find number 2. But the Drakengard and Nier games are in the same universe or something like that. And I had an online friend years ago who loved these, and I always thought, well, one of these days I'll have to check them out. So I've got the third one. Apparently I have the first one, and I'll have to find number 2. And this next game I got because it was less than $10, and it's a nice game in a box. This is one of the BlazBlue series. I've heard people call it BlazBlue, so this is BlazBlue Continuum Shift Extend. I do believe that this is a fighting game, and I'm not really into fighting games of any kind, but like I said, it was cheap. This was $8 or $9. It's good condition. It's still sealed, but it does have this, I don't know that you can pick it up on the camera. The front of the box itself is kind of indented in a minor way. But this comes with an art collection book, a soundtrack CD, and even a calendar, Calamity X Continuum calendar. More than anything, though, I'll just be happy to have it on the shelf, burgeoning into the PS3 collection, since I'm not a big fighter fan. And then I have one more game from these pile of system. Well, it ended up all being PS3 except for this one, and then I do have some more stuff over here to finish off with. But this is Killer is Dead, and I don't even know if this is considered a limited or special edition. It is in a big box. It's the reason why I picked it up. It comes with a hardcover art book, a soundtrack CD, and bonus DLC content. Hopefully, if I decide to really play into this game, I can still download that DLC. It's a 360 game. But I had this on my an Amazon wish list for years because it was a relatively good price. And then I noticed one day that it was no longer available from the seller that I had clicked it on, and I wasn't sure if I could still find it for a decent price, but I was. This was between $30 and $40 price, I think. Alright, so we're going to finish this off with probably my favorite thing. Getting a new PS3 is awesome. It's like I said, that reopens a whole collection of games that I was separated from. But I also got another new console. So between the PS3, the new Nintendo 2DS XL, and this, I've basically introduced the ability to play three more consoles worth of games in my collection right now. And anyway, this, and it's going to be probably hard to see because it's not a standard Wii U box. This is a refurbished Nintendo Wii U, the 32 gigabyte black console, clean tested, inspected by Nintendo themselves. And I wanted to get one of these. It comes with the Nintendo Land game. I wanted to get one of these before they became near impossible to find without them being outrageous. And this game is very nondescript. It's just that on the front and the serial number down here. I ordered it directly through Nintendo. And the reason for that is I wanted to get a Wii U. I've wanted to get a Wii U for a long time. Even after the Switch was announced, even after the Switch came out, I was like, I'm not getting the Switch. I'm buying a Wii U. They have a certain number of games that I have always really wanted to play, and I already owned a couple of Wii U games before. I'm not going to grab them, but I have the Xenoblade Chronicles X, like the big deluxe edition box set game, and I had a game called Rodea the Sky Soldier that's actually that game on the Wii U and the Wii. And then I have a nice little stack of games over here that I've picked up since I picked up this console. But the reason why I went the Nintendo refurbished route is because on Amazon, on Walmart.com, on all the other places that I normally would go, where I could find new consoles and not somebody's, console and cables and scratch gamepad in a box like they're going to sell at a yard sale. Everybody was selling those consoles for a minimum of about $400 to $430, and all the way up to some of them were like $700 or $800. See, I don't know if Nintendo does it on purpose or not, but since I used to be in retail, I was at Walmart when basically the Wii U was discontinued. It would have been Christmas of 2016, right around the time that my computer went down. At that Christmas, the remaining Wii U consoles that we had in store, when they sold out, Nintendo just turned off the replenishment and didn't send us anymore. And they were still $300 consoles. They never marked them down. They never had an overwhelming surplus, which is crazy because for a console that they basically killed after, 3 years, they didn't have a lot of consoles apparently left over when it was all said and done. So instead of being able to get one that I thought maybe I would get one marked down to $200 or $250, and it would be brand new, and it would be something I could buy at a store, they were just gone. And then, like I said, on places like Amazon, GameStop's website, even a little bit on Walmart's website. I never really looked at eBay, but I'm sure it probably fell in line unless they were used consoles. They were all so expensive. So I got this one here, I'd say maybe a month to a month and a half ago, probably a month, from Nintendo's website, a refurbished one. So I know it's been used, but I know that it's also been refurbished by Nintendo, not by, just any old person who thinks that they can refurbish consoles. I got it refurbished by Nintendo, and I paid $175 for it, with the gamepad, with the Nintendo Land game, which is no big deal. Like I said, I have a stack of decent games, I think, over here for it. But I had to get one of those before they went away. I'm not ever going to buy a Switch. I already have a handheld console now. I know the Switch has got some cool looking games on it. Super Mario Odyssey looks really nice. There'll be future Xenoblade Chronicles games on it. And hopefully it's selling extremely well. So maybe we'll get some more third-party support, and we'll see some new IPs or some really cool new games on there. And it won't just be the Zelda, Mario, Kirby, Star Fox machine. So anyway, let me jump into the games that I have bought for the Wii U. And the first one of the first ones that I had to get was Bayonetta 2, and I also had to make sure that I got the one that comes with the original Bayonetta game, along with Bayonetta 2. I guess that's the first game. Of course, it would be the first one in the case would be the first game. But that's Bayonetta 1 and 2 for the Wii U. That way I didn't have to go try to track down Bayonetta. Bayonetta was always an exclusive to the Wii U, right? It wasn't on the original Wii. I don't know what I'm thinking, but maybe it was just the fact that... No, that's right. Bayonetta was available on some of the other consoles. Heck, I may even have a copy of the original Bayonetta for something else. But still, I wanted to get this one, and it wasn't too expensive. Here's another one that I was wanting to get from the first time I ever saw it on the shelf, like at Walmart, and that is Hyrule Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors inspired Zelda-style game. I don't know if it'll feel as fun and as adventurous as the full-on Legend of Zelda games, but once again, it just felt like a must-have in the Wii U library. This one was also a must-have for me, Super Mario 3D World. May not have quite the charm and personality of Super Mario Odyssey, but this actually was one of the first games that made me want a Wii U. So I made sure I got a copy of that. Paper Mario Color Splash, because the Paper Mario games are pretty cool, and I would like to play more of them. I would like to own all the games in that series that I can, so I definitely had to pick up the one for the Wii U. Let's see. I'm going to save these couple for last, because they are kind of the ones I wanted the most for the Wii U. But here's something that I picked up. Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE, or hashtag FE. I'm not sure which one it's supposed to be. I'm not even sure if this is a kind of game that I'm really going to be into, but I know that this is, I think, somewhat involved in the... I think it's somewhat involved in the Shin Megami Tensei series or Persona, or I could be completely off. But this was less than $10, so I bought it. Here's another one that was cheap that I picked up. Warriors... I'm going to say Warriors... Oh, it's a Warriors... it's Warriors Orochi 3 Hyper. It's another one of the Dynasty Warrior style games, without the Legend of Zelda theme that Hyrule Warriors has. But this was just cheap. A game I don't see very often, don't hear a lot of people talking about, so I decided to pick that one up. Here was one that I had to have. Donkey Kong Country's Tropical Freeze, or Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Now, I owned this for the 2DS when I had the 2DS a couple years back, but when I decided I was going to get a Wii U, I thought I would get this version to play on the television instead of one to play on the little handheld. Alright, this one here, and I got this one because it's cheap. I've heard so many different complaints about this from when it first came out. A lot of people didn't like its control scheme and its setup. But this is the Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard bonus game included. I don't even know what Guard is all about. But I got this for a really good price in the box. And so I decided to pick that up. The control scheme thing may bother me. I've heard that you have to kind of use... It may be one of the first Wii U games where instead of like looking at the gamepad from time to time, but mainly controlling with it while watching the television, you have to kind of like do both. So we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Now here's something that I bought, and I have to state quite clearly, I'm not a fan of this series. I don't hate it, but I've only ever played the original Super Mario Kart. So I'm not well versed on all the other Mario Kart games. I'm not into competitive racing or competitive games in general. But I just felt like it wouldn't be right to own this system and not have some of the big titles like Mario Kart 8. So I managed to pick up Mario Kart 8. I don't have Super Smash Bros. For the system. I don't know if I'll ever pick it up. At this point right now, the only thing that comes off the top of my head after you see the last couple of games I have, the only other thing that really comes to the top of my head that I'm going to really want to try to find will be the new Super Mario Bros. U, and hopefully even the Luigi Bros. U game at some point. But I know those are kind of expensive. Alright, and the last three things that I have to show, pretty sure this is going to be all the rest of my not PS4 gaming pickups from the last few months. This would be Zelda Wind Waker HD, because I love the Zelda games, and even though I do have I have a GameCube version. No, I have the GameCube version of this game. That's what it is. I don't play the Wii very often. I have a Wii that's backwards compatible, but I think I would probably be more likely to play this HD version of it. So I had to get Wind Waker. It is a Nintendo Selects version. It's the way it goes. But there's that. Then, of course, I got Twilight Princess HD, and I managed to get the one with the amiibo. I'm not a big amiibo collector. I think this will only be the second or third, maybe one that I even own. I did get the Cloud Strife amiibo because Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game. I had to get that. But I also really, really wanted to get this if I could get it at a decent price, so I could get that Wolf Link amiibo. And so I managed to get it. Nailed it. Brand new, unopened copy with the amiibo in it. And then, of course, you've probably figured out where this is all going. This is the game that nailed it home for me that I would have to get a Wii U someday. And I knew it. I was like, they will make a brand new Legend of Zelda game for the Wii U. And, of course, we're talking about Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was announced, and it was going to come out. And I was like, okay, as soon as it comes out, I will absolutely be ready to go to get a Wii U at some point to make sure that I can play this freaking game. And then, of course, they kind of pushed it back and announced that Breath of the Wild would also be a launch title for the Switch. I was prepared to go rage, like atom bomb levels of rage, if they would have decided to cancel the Wii U version and just go with Switch only. But thank God they didn't do that. So now I can finally play this game, and I need to get my Wii U hooked up, connected to the internet, so I can make sure that it's all updated. I don't know how much longer they're going to support anything that has to do with the Wii U and its online stuff. So, but anyway, that's my pickups from the last handful of months that aren't PlayStation 4. A couple new consoles, handheld. You know, I've got myself a decent little Wii U library, 3DS library once more, and some additions to the PS3 and 360. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. A lot of fun stuff there, a lot of stuff I'm going to enjoy having in the collection. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm the Red Shadow, and I'm going to wrap this one up so that I can jump into the PS4 and my Blu-ray/movie pickups from the last few months. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in one of those.